You've used it, right? I mean, who hasn't at this point? You type a question into ChatGPT and bam, in seconds, a perfect answer just appears. It seriously feels like magic. But what's really happening behind that chat box? Well, let's peel back the curtain and find out. You can ask it to write a poem or explain something super complex like quantum physics, or even just help you write an email. And it just does it. It really feels like it knows this stuff. But is it actually thinking? Does it understand what you're asking? That's the big mystery we're going to dive into today. To get a handle on how it works, we first have to be crystal clear on what it's not doing. And honestly, this is where most people get it wrong. So let's kick things off with the single biggest misconception out there. ChatGPT is absolutely not a search engine. It isn't Googling your question in the background. Think about it like this. A search engine's job is to find existing web pages for you. ChatGPT does something totally different. It uses this massive internal library of information that it was trained on to generate brand new original text. It's not a librarian finding a book for you. It's more like an author writing a new one for you, right on the spot. Okay, so if it isn't searching the internet live, where does all this knowledge actually come from? Well, it all comes down to a process we call training, and this is really the foundation for everything it can do. Just try to imagine feeding an AI a giant library. And I mean giant, a huge chunk of the internet, millions of books, articles, websites, you name it. The AI reads all of it. But here's the key. It's not trying to memorize facts. It's absorbing the underlying patterns, the grammar, the style, kind of like learning the very music of human language. And here's the part that's kind of mind-bending. The AI isn't learning that the sky is factually blue. Not really. It's learning a statistical pattern, that after the words, the sky is, the word blue just happens to show up way more frequently than dark or vast or falling. Its entire knowledge base is built on millions of these little probabilistic connections. This incredible knack for learning patterns is exactly what makes ChatGPT a language model, and that name, language model, tells you everything you need to know about its one true purpose. See, at its very heart, a language model has one simple job. Look at a string of words and predict the most likely next word. Then it adds that word, looks at the new, slightly longer string, and predicts the next one after that. That's it. Every single amazing answer it gives you is just the result of that one simple task, repeated over and over and over again at lightning speed. This is maybe the most important thing to take away from all of this. It's not thinking. It's not reasoning or understanding in the way we do. It's an incredibly sophisticated prediction engine, just performing a mathematical calculation to find the next most likely word. It predicts. It doesn't think. So how in the world does it make these incredible predictions? Well, the answer is in its architecture. We need to look under the hood at something called a neural network. A neural network is basically a computer system that's inspired by our own human brain. So instead of biological neurons, it has layers of interconnected digital nodes. Your question is going to travel through these layers, and it gets processed and refined at every single step. First up, your question hits the input layer. This is where your words get translated into numbers, which is a language the machine can actually understand. From there, those numbers travel through the hidden layers. And this is the real brain of the operation. We're talking millions of calculations firing off as the network analyzes all the patterns in your request to figure out the context and the meaning. It's basically trying to answer, okay, based on this input, what kind of output is the most probable? Finally, after all that intense calculation, we arrive at the output layer. This layer takes the results of all that processing and converts it back into a word, the single most probable next word in the sentence. And that's the very first word you see pop up on your screen. Okay, so let's put all these pieces together now. From the exact moment you hit enter on your keyboard, here's the whole process in action. First, your question gets broken down into these smaller pieces called tokens. Think of them as words or even just parts of words. Then the neural network does its thing and predicts the most likely token to come next. That new token gets added to the sequence, and the whole process just repeats itself. The AI looks at the new, longer sequence and predicts the next token. This is all happening one word at a time, but at this blistering, almost unbelievable speed. But if the AI is just predicting the next most likely word, that also explains one of its biggest flaws. This is exactly why it sometimes confidently just makes things up or gets facts completely wrong. This is so critical to remember. ChatGPT is not a fact checker. It's a pattern predictor. Its main goal isn't to be accurate. Its goal is to be plausible. It will always, always try to generate text that sounds right, based on all the data it was trained on, even if the information is totally wrong. So how do you stop a plausibility engine from just making stuff up all the time? Well, this is where humans come back into the picture. After its initial training, the AI goes through a refinement process. It's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF for short. The process itself is pretty straightforward. The AI generates a few different answers to a prompt. Then, human reviewers, real people, read them and rate them based on quality, helpfulness, and safety. This feedback is then used to fine-tune the model, basically teaching it which kinds of responses are better than others. It's this continuous loop of improvement, guided by us. So let's bring it all home. When you use ChatGPT, you are not talking to a thinking mind. You're interacting with an incredibly powerful prediction engine, one that has learned the patterns of our language so well that it can mirror a conversation and generate new ideas on command. It doesn't think, it just predicts, and it does it extremely well. And that distinction, that difference between genuine thought and powerful prediction, that's the secret to both its amazing abilities and its surprising flaws. It's a tool that can manipulate language like nothing we've ever seen before. And now you know how it really works. So, what should we explain next?